Dipti's joining us now for the papers. We're going to go back to that terrible story off of Greece. Dozens of refugees dying aboard that ship that capsized off the coast. And the Greek dailies, of course, are full of it, aren't they, Dipti?
Yeah, survivors say more than 700 people were aboard that boat. So this death toll could be much, much higher than initially reported. If confirmed, it would be the worst migrant boat tragedy in 8 years in Greece. That's according to a Greek website, which I'm going to bring up for you in a second, Tanya, which also warns in its headline today that the civilized West must confront its responsibilities. How many more refugee deaths can we take? The paper asks. There's also a very, very poignant front page from Ephemerida today on its front page. As you can see here, a one-word headline, but rather a very damning one here. Shame, it says, in various European languages, Stuart.
Yeah, you found some other moving pages from across the rest of Europe too.
That's right. Universal grief. That's a headline that reads on Il Manifesto, an Italian paper, on the front page there, noting rather cynically the European Union's usual condolences have been given following this tragedy, while French paper Libération also has a very striking front page here. It says on its front page, their cemetery with a background of the Mediterranean Sea. This new tragedy, the editor of Libération says, is unspeakable. Hundreds of people aboard a fishing boat who were asked to take their life jackets off so they could cram even more people on board. The paper also slamming Europe's closed-door policy when it comes to migrants, saying this latest tragedy clearly shows that not only does it not dissuade migrants, it's also killing them now as well.
Now, Dipti's drawing our attention to a story in The Guardian today. This is an exclusive report about British and American researchers. They've created the first synthetic human embryos.
Yeah, it's a terrifying prospect, and when you read about it, it feels a little bit Black Mirror-ish in a way. These synthetic human embryos were created from stem cells. They're groundbreaking, for The Guardian at least, because they required no eggs or sperm. The embryos could be crucial in determining things like genetic disorders or even perhaps treating repeated miscarriages. But as The Guardian notes, this discovery also falls beyond the realm of regulation in the UK and in most countries, so it does raise a lot of ethical issues. The embryos don't have a beating heart or any brain matter, but they have enough matter to form a placenta, an egg yolk, and embryo. So, as I said, raising major ethical and legal questions as well, Stuart.
Quick bit of sport for you now from Dipti. The Women's World Cup begins literally in a few weeks' time, doesn't it, in Australia and New Zealand. EU broadcasters, they finally, this has been going on for weeks, struck a deal to actually broadcast the matches.
Yeah, there was actually threat of a tournament blackout, but thankfully that has been averted now after a deal was signed between EU broadcasters and FIFA. The EU Broadcasting Union agreeing to extend an existing media rights partnership. It means that European viewers will be able to watch every game of the Women's World Cup. FIFA President Gianni Infantino had actually threatened to veto TV coverage after what he called were very low bids compared to the Men's World Cup. Now, one of the reasons for this is because in previous World Cups, broadcast rights have been grouped together. Both the Men's and Women's World Cups have been sort of sold as a package deal. This is the first time, though, that the Women's World Cup was sold as a separate deal. And given the time differences, many countries bid very low for the rights to broadcasting, leading to that near blackout, which has narrowly been averted now, Stuart.
Yeah, it's going to be our competition, I think, for a few weeks. If you do watch the World Cup, make sure you come back afterwards, OK? Now, finally from Dipti, the Grammy Awards have added 3 categories to next year's upcoming awards ceremony.
Yeah, this is from Deadline. They report that the Grammys Recording Academy announced that next year's ceremony will feature 3 new categories: Best Alternative Jazz Album, Best Pop Recording Album, and Best African Music Performance. The latter category a nod, no doubt, to the meteoric rise of Afrobeats music. Afrobeats music, which is not to be confused with Afrobeat. There's a really interesting article in this website, Revolt, here, which explains that they're 2 separate things, even though people sort of changed the terms. Now, music historians trace the original sounds of Afrobeat to Ghana and Nigeria in the early 1920s, but it's sort of believed to have really begun in the 1960s. Afrobeats with an S is a more modern take of that genre. It combines Afrobeat with dancehall and hip-hop and other musical influences. Now, one of the most famous faces of Afrobeats, at least in recent times, is a Grammy award-winning Nigerian singer called Burna Boy. He's enjoying massive success right now. Most recently, Stuart, he performed at the Champions League final and became the first Afrobeats artist to do so. This little video here was retweeted on his website. We can leave you with just a little bit of that performance of Afrobeats, which is really like the musical genre everyone is talking about right now, Stuart.
If you lose God, they go bounce with your boo. I can part from my group. I'm telling you, that's what they do. Lifestyle, look at you. When you down with the look, they go they look. They go they look. I say this if I do.
And back to you there, Stuart.
Thank you very much, Dipti. Yeah, bit of Afrobeats summing up Dipti's press review for us. Thanks very much.